Hey guys, just before we get into today's video, I just wanted to mention that tomorrow night, which is Wednesday the 1st of July, should be a little bit under 24 hours after this video is released, I'm going to be doing a live stream Q&A over on the Hatch Invest Instagram. So I'll be talking to Nat over at Hatch and we'll be answering all the questions that you have for us. So feel free to go over and check that one out. It will be 6 p.m. New Zealand time, Wednesday the 1st of July. Hey guys, Tom here from the Investing with Tom YouTube channel. Welcome back to the channel. If you enjoyed today's video, hit like, hit subscribe, and that way you can see future videos as well. So we finally reached 10,000 subscribers. Not today, Bitcoin bro. Bro, what are you up to? Bitcoin bro, not today. I'm filming my 10,000 subscriber video. Do you know how many people have waited for this giveaway? Probably not that many, but I've been really looking forward to it. So could I have a few seconds of peace and quiet, please? 10,000, that's crazy. That's like the same amount Bitcoin's probably going to go up tomorrow. So you're telling me that 10,000 people subscribe to your channel just so they could watch the Bitcoin bro? Sure, Bitcoin bro, 10,000 people subscribe just for you, and I like how humble you've been about it. Look mate, I'd usually let you stick around for these videos, but this is an important one, so please just go away. Fine. Film your bloody video. Alright, now that he's gone, I apologize for that, and I am genuinely very thankful for 10,000 of you coming along and joining the channel. So, as part of celebrating that, I'm going to do a book giveaway. I've done a couple of these now. I think we gave away maybe one book at the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So I'm not going to do 10 in this one, but let's go for 3. I'll put up a photo of my bookshelf here. Anything that's in this photo, which will probably not include Poor Charlie's Almanac because that one is hella expensive, but any of the books in this photo, feel free to pick from one of them. And all that you need to do to enter the giveaway, I'll do kind of like a draw and reveal the winners next video. But basically what you'll need to do is comment the book that you would like off the bookshelf, and also comment one of the best money lessons that you've learned from watching the channel. I would really appreciate any insights you can give me there as to where I've been helpful or maybe where I haven't, I don't know. Just so put in a comment there. You'll need to say 2 things: which book you want, and what's your best kind of money lesson that you've picked up on the channel so far. So thank you everyone for your support, and let's get straight into the rest of the video. So with this being kind of a milestone video for me, I thought it would be cool to go into the top 3 lessons on money that I've ever learned and that have changed my net worth and my future kind of trajectory the most, and kind of running through what my kind of top 3 money tips are. So let's get straight into it with tip number 1. Now, tip number 1, I picked up from this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is the first book on money that I ever read, and this one genuinely changed my life in terms of how I manage my finances. And it's a really simple tip to implement, but it's one that's been hugely powerful for helping me to save more money and have more cash available to invest. So that tip is to pay yourself first. I talk about this in all of my money saving videos and all of my kind of personal finance type videos. And pay yourself first is basically the concept of any time that you have money turn up in your account, if you get paid each fortnight or each week or whatever it is, basically automatically setting a big chunk of that money aside for your savings. And then basically living on what's left. A lot of people do that the other way around. They get paid, they pay their bills, pay their rent, pay their mortgage, whatever. They'll then go out to the movies and do whatever they want on the weekends and all that sort of thing. And if there's a little bit left, then they might put that towards saving. So they're sort of spending first before saving, whereas paying yourself first kind of flips that the other way around. It makes you be very disciplined in terms of putting money away consistently as soon as you get paid, and it leaves you a little bit less spending money, and you're a little bit less likely to spend cash on unnecessary things that you don't need. So that one's been huge for me. It's been really helpful with goal setting in terms of setting up like a savings target for the year. I can literally break that down into all the installments of money that I'm going to get paid throughout a calendar year, and I can get a really clear picture of how much I need to be saving to kind of continue working towards my goals. So really helpful personal finance tip. Robert Kiyosaki is the OG of personal finance, and that one was really helpful for me. So that's my first money tip in my top 3. Now, the second tip I've picked up, which is sort of like an all-encompassing statement about being a value investor, is to look to buy things for less than they're worth. And that mantra in and of itself can save you from a lot of really dangerous investments. And it can help you avoid sort of rule number one of Warren Buffett investing, which is don't lose money. And it can also help you not break rule number two, which is never forget rule number one. So, buying things for less than they're worth in a value investing context can definitely protect you from downside. But a lot of people look at it as sort of like a boring way that keeps you away from the high flyers and all those sorts of things. And that may or may not be true. So what it does really is it makes you focus on companies that produce a lot of cash flow. They may be growing companies, they may not be growing companies. Really just depends on what types of businesses that you personally understand. And it creates the environment for this kind of asymmetrical kind of risk return profile. So what you can find, if you can buy something that's genuinely worth $1 and you can buy it for 50 cents, your risk of losing money in that investment is dramatically reduced than if you had paid full price for that particular investment. So, if you can buy something worth $1 and you can get it for 50 cents, the likelihood that that's going to go down to 40 or 30 or 20 cents on the dollar, if you're right in your analysis, is relatively slim. It's not going to say it won't happen, but over the long term, we know that price and value tend to kind of come together, and that creates the environment for you to make quite nice returns in terms of your upside. So when something goes from 50 cents on the dollar to 100 cents on the dollar, it means that your investment has doubled. And if that can happen over 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years, you're looking at anywhere from like a 50% to like a 15% at the low end if you're able to stick with that timeline in terms of annual returns. So the returns can be really, really good if it's executed well, and that is basically the strategy that value investors like Warren Buffett have used over the years to minimize their risk, try and create a little bit more upside for themselves. And hopefully in that time that it takes for kind of price and value to come together, there's also been a little bit of a growth in intrinsic value because you've bought a high quality business. So maybe instead of going from 50 cents to $1, you're looking at a business that instead can go from say 50 cents to $1.20 or $1.30 because it's taken a few years to close that gap. And over those few years, the business has prospered and grown as a result as well. So that was my second major money tip that has really changed my financial life. The third and final one that I want to talk about is something called opportunity cost. And this has changed my life in a couple of different ways. So firstly, as it relates directly to investing, we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about how it relates really to my time and how I allocate time during my days. So first, let's talk about money. Opportunity cost is basically the idea that if you put cash towards something, whether that's an investment or whether that's going out and buying new clothes or buying the latest iPhone or going to the movies or whatever, it's basically the idea that cash could have potentially been used better somewhere else. So for example, if I can invest money in the stock market at, let's say, roughly 8% per year over a long period of time, $1 for me today invested as a 25-year-old is probably going to be roughly worth around $30, give or take a little bit, to me as a 65-year-old. So I've got a lot of years to invest and kind of compound that money, and it's got a long time to grow. So what that means is if I go out and spend $1 on something that's not investing, effectively that's costing my future self more like $30. So there is a large opportunity cost, and the bigger kind of you make that unnecessary spend, the larger you're sacrificing wealth for your future self. So if you go out and buy a $1,000 iPhone, that's probably like $20,000 to $40,000 for your future self in retirement if you had instead put that $1,000 into an investment. So thinking like that and literally having like a compound interest calculator on my phone and plugging in some numbers has been a really powerful tool for me to kind of steer clear of buying things that don't improve my life, frankly. It's been really powerful, and I can't overstate that at all. And I'm that annoying friend that I've got a couple of mates who will go around and look at buying new utes or something, if you're watching this, you know who you are. And they'll get very sick of me literally plugging in the purchase price of the ute to a compound interest calculator and sending it off to them and kind of giving them an idea of what might have happened if they'd instead invested that money over the long term. Obviously, that's not as exciting, and you have to delay gratification and all those things. But understanding that has been very powerful for improving my financial life over time. And the other thing with opportunity cost is simply spending my time on the things that are going to be most productive. So a couple of weeks ago, we had a video with Nicholas from Aussie Money Man, and he spoke a lot about leveraging our time. I am currently working in a job where, like most people, I'm trading my time for money. So that's can work well for a lot of people, but it's not necessarily as scalable as something like YouTube as an example. So this is more of an example where I am spending a lot of time up front, and I'm continuing to spend a lot of time kind of working on producing content for this YouTube channel, but it has so much more growth potential than the average kind of everyday job that someone might have. So the more time that I can allocate to something which has a lot of growth potential versus something which potentially doesn't have as quicker growth potential, the better off I'm going to be in the long run. So opportunity cost is all about, you know, allocating your time as effectively as you possibly can, allocating your capital as effectively as you possibly can, and if you can combine those two, your sort of compounding engine in terms of your net worth over time is going to, you know, have dramatically more horsepower to kind of push you along that track. So that's all from me today. Those are my top 3 money lessons that have really propelled me forward, and they've been very, very useful. So hope you enjoyed the video. Just a reminder, I am doing the book giveaway. 3 of you are going to get a book off my bookshelf. Again, I'll put the photo up here. And to enter, just let me know your top kind of finance tip that you've picked up off the channel and which book you would like, and I'll do the draw and figure out some winners at the start of the next video. So also keep an eye out for that if you do enter, and that way you can keep track of whether you've won or not. So that's all from me today. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day. Cheers.